murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode, Conrad free episode of the Only Friends podcast.
Should go smoothly.
Yeah.
Well, free too.
I got to tell you, this one has to go smoothly because we are very pressed for time.
We got 45 minutes.
Bunch of day two warriors in here.
We have a comfortable 48 and a half minutes.
We have 38 minutes.
Okay, relax, Tortoise.
Brian is 5
I know
minutes.
you drive slow.
I'm out of here in 10 minutes.
I know you drive slow, homie.
You never know, homie.
I couldn't
Pump
think,
your brakes.
couldn't think of that clearly. There
Pump
it
your
is.
brakes.
Pump your brakes. Drive slow, homie.
Yeah. Shout out to Kanye.
You know, I got a funny story.
We don't have time.
Thankfully.
I got humbled a bit whenever that song came on. I think it was in the gym. Yeah, it was definitely in the gym.
Okay.
And I, being a bit of a rap connoisseur, having grown up in the streets,
You're a rap connoisseur.
I know that Paul Wall sings "Drive Slow, Homie," or so I thought. And the youngins in the gym, this is a fucking classic to them.
That's so funny.
They were one.
Yeah.
They're puffing their chest saying Yeezy, Kanye, whatever. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? This is a Paul Wall song. Like, who the fuck is Paul Wall? I'm like, you don't know Paul Wall? That's what I'm talking. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You guys need to know your fucking history. Paul Wall saying "Drive Slow, Homie," and then of course they pull it up on Spotify. Kanye.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
I'm like, God damn it. Producers, man. These fucking producers. What do they even do? Anyway, we have a great and brief show today. The whole squad made it through to day 2 with the exception of Guapo because he opted out for his
Matt Hunt did not make
2000. Let me finish ragging on Guapo before we
I'm trying to save Guapo.
before we
Save
mourn
Guapo.
Guapo set out for his $2,200 yearly pension that he'll be getting paid for not playing the main event.
I appreciate it.
That question really made its way into the sphere.
Yeah.
Jeff Platt asked me about it. I didn't send you the asset, but do you happen to have that clip?
The one where he's asking you about not playing.
Yeah.
I have Connie, and then I have.
Okay, yeah, I did say.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm more responsible than I thought, Guapo. I did send you some assets.
Do you have the clip of the beard?
That would be a great one. Let's cut to these updates real quick so you guys can see how the day one was panning out.
You're almost out. You want an update, or do you want to listen to this
No, go ahead,
interview?
roll it. Yeah.
All right, so what I want to do now is I just want to give a really good podcast a really good PR opportunity. Now, if the host of that podcast wants to say no, it'd be weird, right? Because he's turning the podcast down from some great PR. Matt Berkey, good to see you. This is just that time of the night where we talk to podcast hosts. Would you like to stand up and chat real quick?
People don't know this. The curse started with me.
You think so?
I know so.
What happened?
So. You ejected me out of here
Yeah.
at the end of day 3 last year by doing exactly this.
And that started
And now, look, you know what? I don't like tournaments, so I'm going to accept this interview, Jeff.
You said on that fantastic Only Friends podcast daily on YouTube, by the way, that if somebody paid you $5,000 a year, that you would not play the main event.
That's correct.
Why?
I'm not making $5,000 in this tournament on average. That's abundantly clear. You can ask these guys.
Okay.
They've seen enough.
You won the all-in flip thing online to get a seat.
Yeah.
What did it feel like to get a win this summer?
First tournament win. Notched it. It was good. I got rated pretty hard for even entering. So I entered 15 more. I didn't actually end up free rolling this. I think I was like probably between me and the 3 people I free rolled at least 12K into those things.
45 bullets I fired. To the people a little bit. Matt Berkey again, Only Friends podcast available on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks. I won't be bagging, but I appreciate this interview.
No problem. It's worth it.
What happens now though that you did
Yeah,
that?
Hey,
curse is over.
Hey, you heard it here first. We've reversed the curse.
Yeah, reverse
I
curse.
started this goddamn thing, and I'm gonna end. You know, it's funny because I'm gonna have to do some digging. I'm like pretty highly confident that I offhandedly made a tweet last year about how just did a Jeff Platt interview, immediately busted the event thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember if that actually happened or if I literally busted the hand after I did the interview. And as I was like sitting back down to bust, I look at Jeff and go, fuck you. But something along those lines. And I remember it like starting to stew a little bit. And then all of a sudden, you know, the Grim Reaper effect started to take place. Twitter did its thing. By the way, guys, great work. Great work.
job.
We had a good run. We had a full year of just, you know, convincing Platt that he was the arm of death. And I have to tell you, I don't know that we've done better as a community running a bit for as long as we did with the Jeff Platt curse. I mean, it made its way into the GPIs this year.
Yeah, it
Full
did.
10-minute skit. Just fantastic. But yeah, I think the curse is reversed.
It's lifted.
I think it's over. I bagged 155.
Let's go.
Team leader. Let's go. 155. Conrad right behind me.
145.
145, and
It's a
he's
nice
home in
stack.
bed sick.
He's just getting some rest to, you know, put that 145 to use.
Right. No, he's going through his morning vomiting routine. You know, nerves. Nerves is what we like to
probably
call
what
it.
is nerves,
In
yeah.
the biz,
Arms
he's
are sweat. Palms are sweaty.
palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah.
Just, you know, really settling his stomach.
You know who sang that song?
Kanye?
Paul
All right, can I just tell you?
Wall.
I have to tell you a really quick story because the same thing happened to me when I was bartending.
It's humbling, isn't it?
What's that?
It's humbling, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I was behind the bar. 2 young girls come in, very attractive. They're sitting at the bar, and I got rap on, and I'm rapping to this song, and I'm just really feeling it, and I'm feeling cool and in my element.
Because you are cool.
And they were like, "Wow, like you're really into this song." And I'm
And
like,
you're
"Yeah."
really
I'm
cool.
like, "I'm like, do you guys like Whale?"
Oh,
And
no.
they kind of looked at me funny, and I'm like, "Oh my god, you guys really don't know Whale?" As if they practiced in the parking lot at the same time. They go, "You mean Wale?"
Sick whale guapo.
Guapo, it's not even spelled that way, is it?
It's WALE.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's okay.
It didn't feel- it
You
didn't
should
feel
have
good.
immediately,
It didn't feel good.
and I mean immediately, broke out in some Spanish and just said English second language.
No hablo inglés. That actually would have been good.
Oh man, that would have been so fucking
That
good.
would have been better.
Oh, just incredible.
GG guapo.
Landon actually, he's pulling up the average for the team. 68,000.
63.5.
63.5.
It ain't
Okay.
much, but it's honest work.
It's honest
It
work.
is
Stole
honest
a few
work, yeah.
blinds for the one level that he played.
Funny enough, there was a spot where Rigby needed money because he busted. RIP Rigby. He's playing the 1K and goes, "Hey, like I need 400 cash for PayPal." I was like, "Okay, cool." Gave him money. I thought I missed a hand. Didn't miss a hand. And they start dealing cards. I got red aces.
Hello.
Oh.
I was like, "Whoa!" I give Rigby money, you get aces in the
Yeah.
middle. They all
Surprised
folded.
you didn't get the
Yeah.
2-3 offsuit.
They all folded, but giving them blinds. You
Give
know.
them blinds, baby. Nom, nom, nom,
Those
nom,
blinds
nom,
are
nom, nom, nom.
expensive.
That's right.
Oh, I talked to Daniel, by the way, and we caught it, so he fixed it.
Okay,
but it
good.
would have been the way that Brian thought.
Yeah, so to clarify for the audience, we didn't specify that it was a 250K difference
Difference in the
between cashes. So should both players cash an event, currently the cap would be set at whatever they cash for because they're individualized rather than compared. But we have now agreed to compare the two and make it the difference between, because like in the main, let's say Becker gets 9th and Landon gets 10th. Actually, they might pay the same. Let's say Becker gets 9th and Landon gets 8th. That might be like a $200,000 difference, but both would have already hit the cap. So technically, nobody would have made any money, and that's not really in the spirit of the bet. So for any side action that's out there that's abiding by the official rules, i.e. whatever Landon and Becker are going by, just know that
Which
it's
you're
been
still
corrected.
figuring out.
Nothing would make this summer better, and it's like literally a 0% chance of happening, would be them getting heads up in the main event. And it would be
And then not making
playing
any
for
money.
the 250K
I mean-
cap, plus the $4 million difference and whatever it is, plus the extra 100,000 on top of the
Right.
for the bracelet.
The irony is that, like, truthfully, as exciting as all of that would be, no one would care.
Yeah.
Because like
Everyone's rich now.
we're all so fucking rich.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody wins. Everybody wins.
But
So nobody wants everybody
the
to win.
storyline would just be God.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants everybody to win. That's not
It'd
how
be
this
so
works.
Yeah, as I
He
was
bagged, by the way. He bagged 86.
He bagged.
he
Yep.
did. He nipped you a little bit, but
I
he played a few more levels.
He did.
I got a tortoise stack.
So Tortoise, honestly, Poker.org, where are you? Somebody needs to write a fucking goddamn article about this. 17 main events in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You've made day 2.
Yeah.
This has to be some sort of
It's
fucking
not in a
record.
row because I
missed
did,
a year.
I didn't play in 2007, so it was 2006, missed 7, and then since 8 on.
I also didn't play in 2007. We were broke.
Life is
No,
life,
I
Matt.
don't know if I was broke.
We were here.
We were here, and then I remember Brent's like, "My family's in the Outer Banks. You want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of over this. Let's go."
No, I thought Brent played.
No, he didn't. We both left before the main event. We were out here. We were like, should we play some satellites? Try to get in this thing and try to sell. We're like, nah, let's just go to Outer Banks.
Funny enough, I was actually talking about that 2007 year yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I had Johnny Backs at my cash table with Cliff Josephy.
Sleeping.
And I go out of my way to remind him every time I play with him that he could have been my stake horse. He could have been riding this roller coaster with me all along. And he goes out of his way to tell me his heart couldn't take it. But that 2007 summer, I had gone broke here at the series. Broke is a loose term, but broke-ish.
Yeah.
Like I was firing sit and goes. I was playing like $250 sit and goes every day, and I think I brought like, I don't know, 7 or 8K with me, and I raffled it off,
Went right through
whatever
it,
it's
yeah.
gone. So one morning, like 6 a.m., Brent and Randall Lynn and a few others, fresh home from the Rhino, take me to breakfast.
Nice.
It's like, ass crack. It's literally like the scene out of Varsity Blues where they come storming out of the strip club. Sun's too bright,
Yeah, rubbing the crust out there.
What was the fat guy saying on stage? He kept yelling something.
On stage?
Yeah. Somebody was dancing on stage, and the fat kid was like yelling something.
10, like,
That's what it was.
10.
No, that wasn't on stage. That was whenever the
teacher was on stage.
The teacher was the stripper.
Yeah, I
she
knew
was
it was
a-
something. I remember
It was
he yelling
topical. It
something.
was erotic. Give it a 9.5. I still got wood.
Yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
Daniel has a question.
Go on.
If someone cashes and caps it out for 250,
Yeah.
and the other does not cash for -10, that's a 260K swing, correct? And I said, yeah. If someone if Jeremy cashes for 300K and I brick the main,
yeah. But
it counts as
you shouldn't
him plus
see it.
250.
You shouldn't see it as a 260 swing. It's
just him plus
Landon
250.
minus 10.
Right.
Becker plus
Yeah.
250.
Yeah. So by default, yes.
Yes.
Right.
That was already.
But if
the
you
case.
cash for 100,000 and he cashes for 350,000, it's still a $250,000 swing.
Correct. So then
Correct.
Jeremy would get 250K added to his
Yes.
total.
Correct.
Yeah.
Where was I? Oh, so I'm having breakfast and I'm explaining my situation to Randall, who's like 19 at the time, and had just started getting backed by backs and sheets. He goes, shoot him a message on Pocket Fives, like tell them that I recommended you or whatever. And at the time, like it's 2007, so I have very meager online results. I had actually done fairly well prior to the summer. I'd gotten second back-to-back nights in the Party Poker Nightly for like 25K or something like that. So I was like, all right, I'll shoot them a message. So I shoot them a message, and I just remember them politely responding no. And if you guys remember when we had Sheets on here, I brought it up to him, and he said, I had a fucking Rolodex of notes on you.
Yeah.
There was no way
That's
that was ever going to happen.
Amazing.
But yeah, it's turned into quite the ball bust between me and Cliff. Going into today's main, I have high hopes.
Me too.
I'm going to
You
bag
always
him.
I have 22 blinds and I have a lot of high.
The main is so special.
See, it really is, isn't it? You know what? You're going to Gelf on this, aren't you?
No, go on.
Well, no, because he said he didn't play for so long. And not that you don't, you play every year. But then like he played this year and he was just like, it's just like, I forgot how like special this is. And he's like, I just had a great time playing and it was so much fun. I forgot that like poker can be fun again. And
You know what it feels like? It feels like some combination of like a high school reunion and a family picnic. You know, like, you know how we had sports day in high school?
Yeah.
Where they just like took us to the ball field and let us run rampant.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Right.
Only you're playing for $10 million.
Yeah.
And everybody around you knows that.
Yeah.
And I had the first level and a half or so. It takes so long for people to settle in and let the allure of the main event brush away and then start actually playing poker. Like, the main event has some weird additional layer of ICM attached to it that no other tournament in the world does, where the opportunity cost of busting is so great that people just play this like wildly different style of poker.
Right.
You know, where they just can't ever be all in without aces. And if you're the asshole who gets it in with kings, then you deserve your death.
Well, the problem is that that's true. The other person just always has aces when it goes in. So if you have the kings, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I truly don't even know how I lost half my stack in the first level. I think it was just like through C bets.
Didn't you like cold 4-bet 5-4 off or something?
First hand, 5-4 suited. It was not cold. I opened under the gun.
All right, I got a few details wrong. It was suited and it wasn't a cold 4-bet.
It's just like a normal.
It's so standard, Landon.
Right.
Tell him. 300 big blinds effective.
How bad can it
Standard
be?
where? In theory land?
How bad can it be?
In perfect. What do you mean? This young man from Cyprus is still sitting down as he 3-bets me. And I'm just like, listen, buddy, I've been around the fucking block. I know how this works.
Okay, I mean, if he was from Cyprus, I'd give you a pass.
Oh, you think I had a good table to start? I mean, honestly, it was a good table, but like by no means was it an above average main event table.
My God.
I had Czechoslovakian reg to my left, Cyprus reg to his left, then one old man coffee, then a guy from our Bellagio game who I unfortunately crippled for him. A Scottish reg, Brazilian reg.
Jesus, you had the League of Nations.
Yeah, there was only one American there, and he was 89 years old, and only
that was the OMC.
Yeah, and he only ever had the nuts.
Okay.
The 3 times that he played pots. So yeah, I mean, like my table was that was the problem. Is they all presented the mirage that they were going to battle. Mm-hmm. But they weren't. Mm-hmm. No. I walk up to my table. I missed the first hand. As I'm walking up to the table, I'm seeing a 5-bet pot take place. I'm like, okay, boys. Whoo, I'm at the right fucking party here. We're going to have a good ass time today. So I see this 5-bet pot play out where it comes jack high, the 5-better C bets. It was the kid to my left. The big blind call. By the way, this is like, or sorry, it was a 4-bet pot. The big blind 3-bet, under the gun 1, 4-bet. Call, jack high board, C-bet call, and then check. Big blind, kings. Of course. Under the gun 1, muck. Probably fucking ace king. Now I know that. I didn't know that then. I'm watching the hand play out, and I'm like, oh, this big blind definitely has kings. Like, for sure, he doesn't 3-bet queens, I don't even think. No, that's not true. He's Brazilian. He might 3-bet queen 3 suited. Who knows? But as it starts to play out, I'm realizing, like, oh, these guys... It's all fucking mask, man. They're the exact... They feel the same thing that everybody else in this room feels and that I felt up until maybe 2 years ago when something in me died. And that is, you do not want to bust the main event, especially not on day one.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's only an emotional attachment thing.
It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's completely ridiculous.
For sure.
So, yeah, I got crippled down to like half stack, end up doubling through where I flop the nuts, take a weird line, and it works because he flopped 2 pair. And then this hand happens. I wasn't going to get into it this early, but I do kind of want to...
You don't have that much time.
I want to take a peek at it. Yeah, I know. We're just going to do 2 in the mucks and then get out of here.
Perfect.
So this hand happens where we're playing the 200, 300 level, and... It folds to the cutoff. Cutoff is the Brazilian, I believe. I think so. Brazilian opens to 800. And the button is my Scottish friend who is a cash pro. And I knew he was a cash pro immediately because we had like 4 blind on blind scenarios where it folded to him and he opened all 4 of them. And I just look at him, I go, how high is the rake in your room? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, we don't do that in tournaments, but okay. let's continue. So he tank calls, which to me indicates that he has a hand that could go either way between three bet
and call
or call.
Yeah.
But he ends up landing on call. I have 2 red aces in the small blind. I make it 10 bigs, which I kind of regret. I think I could have gone bigger, given how deep we are.
4K. I like 4K.
You're 300?
We were 70,000 effective at 300 levels, so like 250-ish.
Yeah, you probably go bigger, like 16 bigs or something.
Yeah, I think I just was like these guys are playing tight and I have aces.
Yeah,
but it's such a bad like formulating.
It's
thought.
not great when they get to play call.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as it went call, I go, God damn it, I should have went bigger.
Yeah.
Whoops. What am I gonna do? Give me the Jack 4 deuce board one time.
That's close.
It is, but it's not. These boards are treacherous.
Yeah, the
When
runouts are not going to.
When you're like 8
They're
SPR,
not kind to you.
they are not.
well, like when you're 8 SPR, it's like,
aces.
how the fuck do we get it in here?
Yeah,
You
just can't.
Well,
you can't get it
how
in.
do you get it in and not be behind?
Right. Precisely.
Does that C4 have?
He has us
short?
both. He has us both covered.
Oh, okay.
I put 100,000, but it came up 10,000. I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That
I did
one-
the same thing in one.
Yeah, that one's on me.
Yeah.
So it ends up like I end up checking flop. Obviously, I don't have a spade. I think it's pretty reasonable to play a little more pot control here. Checks onto the button. Oh, by the way, back to the pre-flop read. So he tank calls the initial open, but then snap calls the 3-bet, which clearly to me indicates he's in a very particular portion of his range because he has a hand that could have mixed between 3-bet or call, chose call, but then it never has the option to 4-bet.
So he has 8s.
Yeah,
Right, so it's not like ace queen,
Right.
right? Like ace queen would at least hesitate and maybe sometimes like choose to be a 4-bet bluff or something along those lines. So yeah, I think it's like a lot of pocket pairs and a lot of suited connectors. I think that those make the most amount of sense. So he stabs for a quarter pot. I obviously call and the cutoff gets out of the way. Turn is then the 4 of hearts, which I think is pretty good. I check, and I'm expecting like 2E type of sizing here. So some sort of like big bet size. Something anywhere between like pot and whatever 2E is at this point. I think we're like 4.5. So
like
somewhere
pot and a
between
half.
like pot and a half.
Yeah.
He goes half pot, which I was a little bit miffed by.
So this is the stack that's correct for this guy? He has
Yes,
50
I cover him by like 3K.
Can we just jam?
I really considered it.
I mean, how bad can it be?
What made me hesitate was my fear that
I don't feel like it's a set.
I mean,
I was afraid he was like custom sizing with sets.
I feel like you just go bigger, right?
Well,
Scary
that's the
board.
thing is, yeah. That's. I think my mind got a little bit warped because it's like, well, I have the ace of the ace of hearts, so it's not really backdoor hearts, and also backdoors would like almost always fall into the big size, kind of naturally, I would think. Because you're bluffing, right? Unless it's like pair plus. If it's 9x of hearts, you're not going to big size. If it's 6x of hearts, you're not going to big size.
It feels like a custom bet, and there's bad rivers. All in seems kind of cool.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You
right?
know?
I think you're right. I think like with custom sizes here, they're hands that have showdown value and a lot of equity.
I wouldn't want to jam if the board was like full rainbow. But I think
Agreed.
on this board it's just like, okay, like there's 7-8,
Kinda nice.
6-5, 9-8 of hearts. Like you could have like double hearts, double spades.
Yeah.
Equity is tough for you in the sense of, okay, heart comes or spade come and he jams. Like how are we going to pay this off, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Where we do win a lot now, and with the pre-flop read, it's not like he has like 3-5 suited. You know?
Right.
So you're not scared of things that don't exist.
Correct. Yeah. The irony is, I think that if I were bluffing, I would find it. Like, I think if I have a hand like
Ace-3 of hearts.
yeah, ace 3, ace 5, something along those lines.
If you found a peel or whatever.
Right.
Ace-6 of
Or
spades.
even a hand like ace 3 of spades, ace 5 of spades, like hands that I can't bluff river with.
7-8,
Right.
7-8 of hearts.
Yeah.
But like, because that makes more sense because you're like, I don't want to call out a position with 8 high.
Correct. Yeah.
But with aces, you're like, oh, like I hope he bets, and then you're kind of hoping he like checks back, and like you.
So I think that's where I landed was like, oh, he has a lot of showdown value and probably a hand that's like, dense to equity.
It's
I'm
decent.
gonna call, the board's gonna pair. I'm gonna check and he's gonna check down.
Board's gonna pair.
I really felt the board pair coming, man.
Yeah, but it didn't.
It didn't.
No? What happened?
Very unfortunate.
Oh,
So the river 3 of hearts comes off, and my initial response to that was, that's a good card. like immediately in my head, I'm like, oh, that's a good card. I have the ace of hearts. He doesn't have ace 5. He doesn't have the nut flush. I'm just never going to face a big bet on this card. So the irony was when I faced half pot on the turn, I was like, I think this is a range that's like kind of, as Hunt refers to as convertible, where it's a range of hands that can kind of go either way. A little bit of showdown value, a lot of equity, could potentially turn itself into a bluff. So I was gearing up to call a jam on like a brick.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if another deuce rolls off and he jams, like, show me pocket 9s, buddy. I'm snapping.
Which we could have been okay with on the turn.
Correct. Yeah.
Because like that's the thing that it's not just like this spot, but spots in general. Like you're always getting stacked by better value. You know,
Yes.
you're always
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
stacked by 9s. You're always getting stacked by 6s. You're always getting stacked by deuces.
Well, not necessarily, because the board can run out
Yeah,
a way
on
where
clean
you won't.
runouts, on good runouts.
Sure.
Yeah.
Stack,
Right.
yeah.
We've assessed that his range isn't only sets.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
in this case, it's like, okay, we think he has equity, we think he has pair plus, we think he has flush draw, and also our hand becomes difficult to play calls with on certain cards. Like a 10 of hearts or like a jack of hearts comes and he jams. Like we're still not we're not happy anymore.
Agreed.
Especially in the main where people don't find the bluffs anymore, and now you're bluff catching, and where are the bluffs? And
Right.
I've made my life really hard.
3 jams.
So he jams.
Yeah.
And I almost turbo folded. I just like looked at him and I showed the ace of hearts. I go, what are you doing? How are you all in?
How?
Not on that card, bro. I mean, what do you want me to call with?
It's hard too because all of his bluffs kind of get there in some way.
That was the thing that I kind of arrived like.
Besides like 7-8 of spades, but now you need to use a 2 black card hand when
And a
there's-
weird turn size.
There's a lot of things that need to go
Like
wrong.
7-8 of clubs would make more sense to me than spades, to be honest,
Yeah,
because of the weird turn size.
sure, because you're like you want to bluff some stuff, get high cards to fold, and
Yeah.
then
Is
Is it
sometimes you make it
always?
straight.
It's just always 6-5 of.
But now
hearts.
you do jam with clubs in your hand on a hard board when you can just have ace king or ace queen of hearts, ace jack of hearts.
Well, you could use that same logic with like a lot of whatever flushes he possibly possesses here, right? Because they're going to be low. I don't think he ever has.
Lowish.
I don't think he has like king queen of hearts here very often.
Jack 10 of hearts, right?
Yeah.
Queen jack of
Again,
hearts.
remember, I'm going back to the pre-flop read. It's like this kid plays cash. I find it difficult to believe that he looks at like Jack 10 of hearts and takes the time to.
Well, he probably mixes it, right? It's like a reasonable combo to do bet sometimes, flat sometimes.
It is, especially for tournament guys, but it's just not for cash players. Like our default is to look at Jack 10 suited and want to 3-bet it and then talk ourselves out of it, right? Which maybe that's what happened, right? Same thing with like 9-10 of hearts, things like that. But my mind is more like, okay, this is 9-8 of hearts, 9-7 of hearts.
Does he just have 6-5 of hearts?
I mean,
That's
that was
what I'm
my
saying. He
that
just
was
has 6-5 of hearts. That hand makes so much sense, right? It's a hand that can go either way pre-flop, right? It's like a hand that he's gonna bet the flop, and then when he gets to the dream turn card, he's gonna custom size,
right
like,
because it's like
yeah.
too good to check.
Right, yeah, but I don't want to overbet.
Don't want to overbet
right,
it.
yeah.
Right.
So I'm just gonna bet half pot. I mean, that hand makes perfect sense.
That was kind of like what I felt too.
Because like the fear and it's not just like the fear of jamming, because like if he has a flush, he's not really concerned too much, but he's concerned with getting called by worse.
Exactly, and that's what I was kind of. Hunt and I were kind of going back and forth with this, and he's like, I don't think 200% pot's that big of a deal with like all of his flushes. I'm like, man, if he's just jamming like the 7-high flush here,
Right.
Like he's like, I don't think
7-6 of.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think you have any flushes, like, or I don't think you have very many flushes as played. I'm like, buddy, we're 300 big blinds deep. Like, I have a lot of nut flushes here.
You have 10-9 of hearts. You have ace-x of hearts.
I definitely have 9x of hearts for sure, but like, I also just have like ace king, ace queen, ace jack. Like, I'm not c-betting 3-ways very often with these hands, and I'm never folding the quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like I definitely have a lot of these backdoor combos, probably more so than spades. Like I have way more ace-5 of hearts than I have.
You might check raise
ace-5
that
of
one. You probably check raise that one. You know, it's a nice one.
It is a nice one, but I
You
think I
probably
would
call spades.
I
'cause
think
it's
I would
good.
go more like. I think I would be more inclined to check raise a hand like ace-8 or ace-9 of hearts if I ever have it. Like more the middling straight cards than the wheels.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that you're probably not folding it, but maybe you just like peel and then find a 4. But then if a 4 comes, do you play like check jam again?
To be fair, I would, going back to our previous conversation, I would probably be all in a little bit more often on turn with those types of combo draws because the custom size does seem so like
icky,
middly pairish, and it's like, okay, well, like call me then.
Yeah.
But also it's the main. So I don't want to speak to over aggressing in spots that I know I wouldn't miss in cash. That I just there was a lot of spots I played where after the hand I literally go, I fucking hate the main event because I'm actively choosing not to go for another street of value where I know that I would never miss this street in cash. And it's simply because like I either think my opponent's too tight now in this particular spot, or I fear the worst case scenario, which is that I'm only going to get jammed on by bluffs and better, and I'm never going to get called by worse. You know what I mean? And then I also I'm not confident enough that the bluffs exist that I could just like bet call it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what happened here. But besides putting in value, he put all the value in himself.
Right, because I'm pretty certain when we look at this, my hand's going to play as a call.
Yeah, you have a good hand.
At least some of the time. I don't think it's going to be a pure call, but I think like it's at least going to mix a call. Like having the ace of hearts is pretty nice, I think.
You have a good hand. You're kind of capped, and you're going to put in like aggressive check raises on the turn a lot.
Yeah.
So like when you like protect, it's going to be hard to find.
That was kind of Hunt's point, I think, is that I'm going to be pretty capped here. I think I probably have enough 5x and nut flushes.
Yeah, but is that better? Is calling like 6-5 better than aces? Like 6-5 of spades? Or sorry, like diamonds? Because like he's saying he's a flush, you know?
Yeah, that's a very fair
like
point.
he's not jamming a straight, probably. That's insane.
I also think that's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
So now he's saying he's a flush or not, and the ace of hearts is better.
Yeah.
Fair. That's a very fair point.
So I don't know.
But like
maybe aces is a better call.
pocket fives with the 5 of hearts, maybe. But I guess I'd never even. I don't even have that.
Yeah,
I'm reaching, bro.
No,
I'm
and even
reaching.
if you have that, like, yeah, sure, it's a better call. But once again, like he's saying he has a fucking
Correct.
flush, man.
Yeah. Well, he's particularly saying he has a straight flush.
Yeah, he has a straight flush.
You ultimately folded, obviously.
I did ultimately fold, and I felt really good about it in real time, but I was kind of questioning it. And Hunt's point was like, oh, well, if he thinks, or if you're as capped as
he doesn't have offsuit hands for what it's worth for the button, right?
I would not think so, but he could have like offsuit broadways, but this would be a crazy line to take.
I just don't feel
offsuit, bro.
like king, queen, hearts.
King, queen, king, jack.
I just don't think so when it goes 3-bet call, you know? Like king, they should not play calls.
The speed pre gave a lot away because like those offsuit broadways, they're just like pretty naturally ingrained as calls. So you don't have to tank that long of whether or not it's a 3-bet.
Or you mix the turn. But
Yeah. But then particularly now once you face squeeze, you don't just have a snap call with those hands. Right. They're mostly going to be folds.
Right. So now he doesn't have offsuit hands.
Yeah.
Right.
I pretty much concur with that.
Yeah. So I just think that like aces with a heart.
Now he could take a hand like fives with the 5 of hearts and yeet it, I guess, as like a mergy bluff. But like still, that's just the best hand.
It's a straight.
Right. Like I'm just
he's trying to get you to fold straights.
Yeah. Well, possibly, but
that's crazy. But like, how do you have a straight?
Right.
You know?
He would have to have like not the 5 of spades.
You have more flushes than straights.
Well, he would have to have not the 5 of spades, right? So he'd have to have like 5 of hearts X, and then I have like the ace 5 of spades.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
A lot going on here.
He's saying he's a flush. The ace of hearts is nice, but at the same time, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And I will say that later I had pretty strong confirmation that it was a decent fold because there was a spot cut off first button where he opens, I 3-bet button, he just calls, and we end up going to showdown on an ace high board where he tables ace king. And it's like, oh, if you're not 4-bet jamming ace king off out of position for 50, then like I feel like not only did you have a flush that hand, but you had a straight flush.
Right.
Because I had the ace of hearts. So like I just don't think this is king queen of hearts anymore.
It might be like, sure, it might be, you know, like if you got it, you got it. He blocks some stuff, but not the point. The point is he probably had a flush. He probably had a flush, but I also think jam turn is better for you.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Scary board, you know.
I think you're right, and I wouldn't be surprised if the solver agreed. The solver strat's so interesting. It just, and granted, it's not dealing with 2 ranges here. It's just dealing with a button range.
Yeah.
So it goes a little bit harder, but it just goes 2E right out of the gate.
Scary board, yeah.
Just like let's be all in, my G.
Yeah.
You know, let's set this up to be all in. Yeah. And honestly, like when you're talking multi-way, what you can do in place of this is check raise. Right. So you check to let the 2 ranges kind of define themselves. The middle guy checks. Obviously, that's going to be a much more capped range. He's going to start value betting his sets and stuff. And then the button goes small. Well, it's like, okay, well, now we just check raise 2E and we play all in that way. And Conrad kind of made that comment to me of like, I'm surprised you didn't check raise. I was like, no spade. Like, it just feels really bad with no spade, I think.
Yeah.
And I think when we look at the combinations of aces that go really hard, It does choose the ones without a spade.
Yeah, because a spade you can station down more.
Right.
Like a spade comes, you can win.
Yep. And I imagine when we check, if we do play check raise, it's going to be obviously the ones with a spade because they're the ones that check at the higher frequency.
Yeah.
So we go check. Let's see if he does play B25. So that's pretty reasonable. And then our response here, I imagine, is going to be some check raises. Yeah, so it's going to lean on ace of diamonds, ace of clubs. So the ones that unblock front door, back door. That's going to be your pure check raise. And then the other mix will be the spade heart combo. So again, not the one that I had. I happily would have, if I had instead of ace of diamonds, ace of spades, I think I would have happily found a check raise here. I just played for it. And, you know, maybe I'd be singing a different tune today, either with 300K or no money at all. So we just continue through a call. Turn 4 of hearts, is that correct?
Yeah, because river's a 3 of hearts.
River 3 of hearts, okay. Can't remember which one came first. Turn's really clean when you think about it, right? Like nothing completes here. He's not really going to have any 5-3 straights, I don't think. And he could very well have 5-7 suited, but like that just turns open end.
Probably not. It goes to call button, call squeeze.
I mean, we're super deep and it's the main. Like people are splashy.
Sure.
I wouldn't fault him for it if he did. So
I would.
Our assumption was right. This is a big bet spot. So you can see it's just 2E, which is 101% pot. It does choose the small size here a little bit, not small, but like the B67. And when we carve this out, it's kind of exactly what you would think, right? So
it uses high cards to fold.
Yeah, it uses a set of 9s to protect. And then it's just like kind of a lot of the other stuff that we thought. So it's actually not picking the 10-9 of hearts. It's picking the other variety. So it's not the combo draw there.
Well, that's because it does something else on flop, right? It just doesn't exist?
No, it exists.
It just exists in the bigger bet
It goes
node?
in the big... Oh, no, you're right. It doesn't exist.
It checks back. Getting check raise is toxic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Can't check raise with can't bet with pair backdoor.
Okay. Probably should lock that in because I imagine he does bet it.
Your equity just gets slashed really bad.
But when we do look, we see that 6-5 of hearts starts to make its way into the small size a little bit. It still prefers to 2E, of course, because that's just gonna be your simple strategy. If we gave this a 1 size, it would just pick the full pot, right? So like the smaller size, especially, let's change it to what he actually chose, which was 50. I'm really interested in this because I just want to see like what combos still exist whenever we arrive at river.
You probably have to remove the 101.
No. I don't think he's range betting 50. I agree with you. I think he customed.
Yeah. What is a custom bet?
Yeah. So I think it's good to kind of leave it as is because it's a lot of what we think, right? So he does have 7-5 here. And it's the combo draws, 7-5 of hearts, 7-5 of spades, of course. He picks 6-5 of hearts here a fair amount of the time. It does look like he actually could be playing some 5-3 here, but again, this is not flatting a cutoff open, right? This is
just button small blind.
Yeah. This is just button small blind. So maybe this is a little bit wider, but honestly, this might be a little bit more indicative of how people play the main anyway. And then it's just like a bunch of other kind of nonsense, like, you know, some stabs that have middling cards that could potentially bluff river. But all in all, this range is incredibly weak. I wouldn't be surprised if we start check raising aces again. Yeah, almost pure. So your instinct was really good, Landon. It just kind of wants to yeet, especially with the ace of spades.
They got me.
We don't ever have my combo because it just always bets the flop.
It's a different spot though, multi-way, so it's whatever.
Right.
I would just jam the turn.
Fair. Yeah, jamming turn's pretty good. You can check raise for a half pot also, but it really just wants the unicorn combo to do that. The spade heart combo.
Probably just fade that part of the strategy.
Yeah.
Probably just
yeet it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really does drive around aces. Like that's one of the main combos that wants to do this. So interestingly enough, I almost block bet river, and you can see aces is a pure block. I did strongly consider that because I thought like, oh, I have the ace of hearts. This will just like freeze most of his range, and I could potentially get called by worse. Like he's not going to jam a 9.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm trying to understand this block bet. Can you show me ace 5 of hearts?
Block betting.
Yeah, it's mixing.
You have straight flush.
It's mixing between block and 3/4, 2/3, whatever.
Like a lot of our ranges center towards 5x as well. So we want to bet straights and flushes, but we can't just start ravaging unless we have a nut flush or a nut flush blocker.
What's interesting to me though, and this kind of proves the discussion that I was initially having with Hunt, we're not capped here at all. The hearts are really good for us.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can see that we take over a pretty heavy nut advantage here on this run out.
Can't check raise flop, can't check raise turn.
Right. We just carry forward a lot of equity here due to the board texture and the fact that, like, again, as I mentioned, we're going to have a lot of these backdoor hands, ace queen, ace king, ace jack, ace 10. We have all these nut flushes that button just never possesses.
Yeah.
And that kind of allows us to do whatever we want. So that means that in position should be playing pretty tightly here, facing check. And you can see he does have an all in here, and of course it's mostly
hand.
around 6-5 of hearts.
Yeah.
Ace 5 of hearts, pure. Actually, it's not a pure jam. It just pets pot.
It's hard to get called.
That makes sense. King 5 of hearts is the pure jam, so maybe he had that a little bit of the time.
Yeah.
He did tell me he had a straight flush blocker, which basically told me that I was dead. Because there's no hand that's bluffing that has a straight flush block.
Yeah, what?
There's no offsuit hand.
He doesn't have any of these.
Right.
It's like Phil Hellmuth when he did straight against Doug and goes, I could have the blockers. And Doug just said, okay, I'm folding 10-7.
Right. That was instantly what I said to him. I go, okay, well, you don't have any offsuit hands that have a 5 or a 6 in them, so good game.
Or maybe he decided to call, or he just went thin with a straight.
If he had 5,
right, I was like, well, if you yeeted 5s, I didn't fold 5s, man.
That's literally the only hand.
I had aces. You know?
If you showed him the ace of hearts, you'd have a 5 of hearts with that.
Right.
4.
Yeah. So when we do get jammed on, which is very rare, you can see all of our. I mean, we don't really have aces.
You just have to remember, you have to make yourself range check the river.
Oh yeah.
Because you have blocks and jams, which you won't do.
That's
which is not your fault.
The irony is, I think if we do this, it's going to.
He might just play check or jam. Because
I was gonna say maybe he would just. Oh, he just pure checks now.
What do you mean? He didn't check his range.
No, you check.
Shit.
You pure check.
Shit. How do I go back?
Go to the small blind.
Oh, I recorrect this.
Go there. You recorrect that, and then it'll correct the other one.
Gotcha.
Oh, you made him pure check.
I made him pure check.
Straight flush.
Straight flush check.
I was gonna say.
I want to see what Matt has. 1 round penalty.
I was gonna say. I imagine that he doesn't.
Yeah. Now go there.
That he doesn't.
Now
jam
pencil
any
back
longer?
in everything.
I don't remember what the sizes were.
Just give like.
I think it was like 67 pot and all in.
Yeah. Sure. It'll pick something.
It'll pick something.
Well, no, it won't pick something.
It'll pick one of those 3.
It might pick all 3 of them.
I have to give. Oh, right. But I'm saying I have to actually give it choices.
Yeah, but you just did.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're right. It pretty much plays.
67 are all in.
Yeah. And
Pot.
a lot of checking, of course.
Yeah, pot's not really smart anymore because it's the weird in between size.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't ever have ace 5 of hearts. That's why it wasn't jamming. It's just ace 5 of spades that lands here. And you can see it starts checking all of its straights, like pocket 5s checks, ace 5 checks.
Like the fear of betting these hands is the fear of getting piled on the turn.
Right.
So you didn't do that.
It is just flush or nothing. And yeah, aces mixes here a little bit. It never has the ace of heart. Oh, it does. Pure folds with the ace of hearts.
Yeah, you block his bluffs.
Right. Which makes a lot of sense. You're actually getting torched.
You're losing 50 big blinds.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
Well,
if
you jam the turn, you'd be winning more big blinds. But.
That is also correct, sir. That is correct. So yeah, I thought that
we take what we could get with you.
Hey man, I fucking folded aces on day 1 of the main event.
You folded a negative
job.
50 big blind call. You folded in a spot you knew you wouldn't. You don't beat value, and then there's no bluff.
I also missed a jam somehow.
Yeah, well, you know how.
Yeah.
You didn't want to. You were scared.
That is true.
You could have a set, man. You could be out of the main on day 1.
I just didn't know what custom.
Just like all the sorry people.
Like
I don't know what that's like.
Here's the thing, man. I didn't know what custom meant. Like I could deduce what custom means a little bit in my head, but I wasn't sure what it meant, and I knew that I would know by the river.
Yeah,
and I fucking found out.
He would tell you what his hand was.
He told me what his hand was.
But you like the inkling is like it's equity plus.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if he has to call it off, right?
6-5?
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably gonna fold because he's upset about it because he doesn't want to. Like, do you really want to put in a pair of flush and a combo draw on the main for infinite big blinds?
I would not
or what you do
play
is
the hand that way, but I would call it off.
what
if
you
I
do
did.
is you jam and you table aces and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then you get that we get the penalty, but you win the pot, and he fades his equity.
I think I would, like if I did that and saw black aces, I think I would just call the 6-5. I mean,
It's
you know,
probably a flip. It's close.
I wouldn't play the hand that way because I would just 2E, and then if I got jammed on, I would have no decision. It would just obviously be a call.
Yeah.
But
You check raise the turn and then you insta show aces and you're just like, bro, you don't got a set.
right.
One round
man.
penalty for you, but you don't have to run the
So
equity.
here's the real question. What do we do now? Do we go over Lamanna's hand, or does he want to leave? It's so close. It's like, does he want to tell he want to tell the bad beat?
We can do it tomorrow. We can do it tomorrow.
He's got 20 bigs, man.
Literally,
All
this
right.
hand took 25 minutes. So
You're right. I knew that it was going to take a minute though, because I
Yeah.
really wanted to dig in.
Yeah. We'll save it.
All right, let's discuss a little bit of the day one play before we get out of here. What was your experience like outside of bleeding all your chips away?
I mean, it was not great. So the first table was okay. Like, I mean, I would say it was probably above average skill wise for the whole event. There were some decent players there. There was a couple inexperienced players there, but for the most part, everyone knew what they were doing. It was fine. I had 72K in the first break. And I was like, okay, here we go. This is just going to chip all the way up. And then I think I had like 65K when I got moved to our table broke, which is weird to begin with. Like,
my table broke also.
yeah, I was at 3 tables on day one, which is like never happens. I'm usually at 1 table, and because not too many people bust, so there's not a lot of tables breaking. And walk over, and I'm all the way in the back of Paris, which on those cash game tables, which I just don't like them. I don't know.
Are you in Paris again today?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the first room to break.
So I get up, I walk up to the table, and I just look, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Because it was literally nobody. There was one guy that was older, probably maybe like 55, 60, and then everybody else was under 30, and the majority of them looked European. I was like, and they were literally all on their phones. No, they were literally every single person that was just on their phone. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. I sit down. Nobody says a word for an hour. Not one word was spoken. I'm like, what is happening here? This is ridiculous. This is not what I signed up for. And then we lost a big one with Queens, where I know the guy is very, very capable of bluffing, and he overbet the river, and I had the right combo to do it. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one tomorrow. I think in general, you should. I had this conversation with Emma yesterday, and
Did she play the main?
she's playing it today.
Okay.
And I wanted to sync with you because I want to instill that tortoise confidence inside of you.
Oh, it's in there. Don't worry.
Trust your gut, especially on rivers in this fucking event, man.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's gonna be trivial. When we look at the machine, your hand is just going to be a fucking call.
Right, I know.
But like, you faced an overbet on the river in the main event
I know.
on day one.
Yeah,
And you're the tortoise.
right.
We don't make money here.
No, we don't.
No. Your hand's breaking even in theory.
Guess what I got shown?
The nuts.
Cold stone cold.
Stone cold nuts.
Stone cold
You want to
nuts.
know why?
Because that's
It's
all.
really fucking easy to overbet the nuts.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, look, holy shit, I made a straight flush. I'm all in.
Yeah, exactly. But we battled through, and we got moved towards the end of the night. The last level, I got moved to another table. It was a fun table. Oh, Chris Moon was at the table. He's
Oh,
sitting
nice.
next to me. Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Moon.
Yep. So Chris was there, and we had it was beer level. We had a beer together, and I bagged up my 17 and a half.
How do you not? I got to ask you, because I was down to 30K in like halfway through the first level, and I was just looking. Like, my mind. I remember actually saying this to myself. I go, you're going to find a spot,
Burke, I was.
to play Geosize all in.
Listen, I was trying. All I wanted to do was double. I didn't care about it's 17 in a row. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
you cared
care.
a
little bit, but I don't care as much. Like, no, honestly, I don't like care. Now that you can buy in. By the way, they need to ban this buying in day 2 bullshit, because that takes away
From what you've done.
what I've accomplished. Right now, you can just buy. Anybody can just make. You can make day 2 every single
I
time.
can't believe they haven't written a fucking novel
I
about
know.
you yet.
Yeah, right.
17? 17 times
Yeah.
out of the last 18 years.
played day 1 from the
17
start.
straight main events
Yeah.
where you've played day 1 and you've made day 2. That's
Yeah.
unfathomable.
Hey. That's what we do.
Kessler couldn't rival this.
No, he couldn't. But it does sound like a Kessler
I can't
stat
believe
if
we
I
have.
ever heard
I can't
one.
believe we have an in-house Kessler. It's so strong.
If that's a Kessler stat, then I don't know what is.
It's just
right?
so strong.
On the stream last night, Tuckman made a good point, and he's like, I think making day 3 is the new making day 2.
Yeah.
And I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with him because it's like the structure maybe is even slower now. You get so many big blinds, and so like some even more people now make it through day 1 than they did back when I first started playing. So I think making day 3 is the new making day 2. So let's fucking all make day 3.
I will say. There's no one in this room I would trust more with 17,000 going into day 2 than you.
Let's go.
Not because I even think you're going to play it the best. Yeah, look, Landon, you're making more off 17,000 than Brian is. But
I mean,
he's cashing way more often off of 17K than you are.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Well,
I give a shit.
Yeah, he gives a shit.
Put us in the
backers-
tournament, man.
I'm playing to win the
Buddy,
tournament.
there are 10,000 people in there. Do you think we're going to break the record?
Close.
Man.
500 entries.
Yeah, 500. I don't think so.
They need 500 today?
They need 500.
I think it's
yeah.
gonna surpass it by a lot.
Oh, really? You think that makes?
I think there'll be more day 2 entries this year than ever before.
I
They
think you're
can-
right about that, but I don't know how many they got.
They got
last year.
700 last year
Total.
on day 2.
Well, yesterday was also a day 2 that people could buy into.
Right, but they only got like 180 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Day 2 stuff. I was thinking.
I hope they break it. Obviously,
Yeah.
we want to see the
How many?
numbers
Yeah,
go
you
up.
think is like a decent amount of people that are ranking day 2?
I think it's gonna be like close to 1,000.
I was gonna rank day 2.
You were.
I was gonna be one of them.
You missed the fucking 1K turbo. Now Chance is gonna win it.
He's not winning it. He busted.
Oh, he busted.
Frank
RIPs.
Lagadish. Shout out to Frank. I think
Shout out to
maybe
Frank.
I can find out who won. Actually, I think it's over. It's over.
I mean, it should be. What a crazy event. What was the structure of this? They played till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it finished yesterday. I'm trying to find out how that went.
Late reg
Oh, it was
did
the 1K. It was the 1K.
1K freeze out. It was
late reg
1K
didn't
freeze
end
out,
until
yeah.
after bagging.
That was a random tournament to just throw in the middle of the main event.
But they did it. They must have started it like late in the day or something because
Yeah.
late reg didn't break or didn't end until after the like they caught people bagging the main that wanted to keep playing.
Really?
Yeah, you could register with 10 big
Yeah.
blinds
The
after
600
bagging.
ultra stack today, I think, doesn't, or I don't know when it starts. Maybe 2 o'clock.
Well, you should maybe
And then
find
Frank
out.
got 6th,
Yeah,
man.
I'm pretty sure it starts. Hopefully not. We're
Yeah,
not going to be
hopefully.
playing that. But
First was only like 180K.
the unthinkable happens. We'll be playing that.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it like late reg is like 10 o'clock at night or something for that one.
Okay. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
A lot going on at the WSOP. The coverage has been fantastic.
Absolutely.
Jeff Platt, unfortunately, he died a valiant death yesterday, but he's out on the floor, working the streets, getting the interviews. Did you guys catch any of the coverage?
Yeah, it was great.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of D-negs yesterday. Jonathan Little sun running like I've never seen. We had it on in Bobby's room. Every time I look up, aces, kings, aces, straight flush. I was like, my God, man,
Hey,
let me do it.
some people are
Just
blessed.
I want to be blessed.
Right.
I wanna
Just
be blessed so
survive
bad.
until you're blessed. That's what you do. You just stay in the tournament until you get hot. That's how you win the main event.
That's true. What if you get hot too early?
And you peak too early, it's never good.
You know what they say.
Then you're going to
Brian.
cash, but you're just not going to win.
You know what they say.
What do they say?
I forgot.
But they do say that. Yeah.
Oh man,
That's great.
They do say that. Yeah.
That's right. Kick that music on. It's 11:15. We got to get down there. We got stacks to build. Let's fucking go, Burke. Let's go, Landon. What do you think?
I guess Tortua's closing us out
I'm
today.
closing this out. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh man. All right, that's gonna do it for us. We'll be back again tomorrow. It's gonna be 10 a.m. as long as we're all still in the main event. So be sure to stay tuned for an early show. Hopefully Conrad will be back tomorrow. We're going to try to get Matt Hunt back in here this week. Jesse will be joining us Wednesday as always. Be sure to tune into the main event coverage. Pay attention to all of the media outlets for chip updates. You can find myself, Brian, Landon, and Conrad all out in the field today. Come say hi if you're down at the Horseshoe. We'll see you guys all here tomorrow morning bright and early.
Peace.
GLGL.